Today I'm going to be doing a practical skills video showing my workflow, my pipeline, how I make things. So obviously the topics are going to be pretty much everything that I do to make a map, right? So that includes sound design, making 3D models, making textures, making a map in Blender, using BandLab obviously for the sound, and what else? Hang on. Yep, and using Unity. That's about it. Yeah. I'll start off with Blender. I've been using Blender for about a year and a half. I'd say a year and a half. And it's been a pretty vital part of my game development stuff, like what I actually do for game development. I'm quite good at it, I'd say, and well, it's my favourite. It's one of my favourite parts of the process. You've got to think about scale. I'd say doorway would probably be about there. Maybe, let's say there. Bring that down and across that way. Probably should have turned snapping on, but whatever, we can always fix that. Sometimes it does something a bit silly like that, but yeah, I'll stop talking now for a little bit and I will speed this part of the video up. I'm just thinking about what this could be, right? I'm thinking, what, we wake up in some sort of basement or something. I'm not really going to go too hard on the ideas because, well, this is just an example. Okay, well that is the map done. We've got some stairs going up, going down, 2 rooms. Very, very, very simple design. Extremely simple design, but that's fine because this is just a test. So that's that little bit done. I'll save that. I'll make a new folder. Where are we going to make this new folder? Make it in downloads. Test game. So here is my file structure. Right, we're going to have maps, textures, audio. What else are we going to need? We're going to need scripts, Even then, that can just be made in Unity, but we're still going to make that. Maps, textures, audio, scripts. In maps, we're going to make 3D models, and maps. That map can just be nested in this folder. That can be fine. Textures, we're going to have 3D models, and then we're going to have another folder called maps, so we can have so that we don't get mixed up. We've got 3D model textures, then we've got map textures, so that will be object textures, and then wall textures, ceiling textures, whatever, all that. Scripts we can leave clean. Maps, we'll nest that here and we'll call it main room. Save that. Obviously it isn't done, we haven't got any materials on it. Obviously we're going to get the materials on it, but that is when we get to the textures, which will be very soon. Okay, so now that's done pretty well. We are going to UV project. Now I haven't explained a lot of the things I'm doing here. I'll start. That gives me an example to start. So we've got UV editing, which is basically projecting an image onto an object. So hold out something in front of you, like what? If you got like basically anything, hold it in front of you. You see there's like, oh look, there's material on there. Like say I'm holding up like a DVD. I've got, oh right, so there's a title, there's the picture of the guy on the cover, and I'm looking at it dead on. This is the same thing here. Imagine that is the DVD player and we're holding it there, and we're imagining the image being put on it like a projector. So we are going to press that, right click, UV unwrap, and project, and that will make the projection. Now, I've isolated this room so I can do this a little bit easier, so I don't have to record my whole process. So, we've got our room, we've got it all, we've got our grid, we've got our textures in place with a UV projection. No, we haven't got our textures in place, forget that. That is what we're going to do. So, I am on my textures website. Love this website, it's great. Wicked website. That looks good. Maybe the bricks? I think we'll do the bricks. So, we've got our picture. I'm going to copy it and paste it into one of my many photo editors that I use. This is Photo. Paste it in there. I don't like to have my textures extremely high resolution because it can make your game's performance go down. So, and it also just looks cooler. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mess about with it a bit till it looks a bit scary. So we've got our image, one of them. So we'll call that wall 1. So now we've got both our textures in. I'm going to put this one down, bring this one up, and we take the colour from this texture here, you can see in the bottom left, take that and put it to the colour of that. Now, because of the way that's laid out, because of the way that's been projected, it doesn't look too grand. So what we're going to do is we are literally going to try out different ways that it might look good and see what one works. And that looks pretty good. As good as we're probably going to get that. Now we're going to separate the wall from the floor and the ceiling. Right now we've got our walls done, and now we're going to move on to doing the ceiling. Actually, before we do that, we're going to get the normal map, which is here. We're going to move that and put it onto that texture, which will hopefully give it a bit of bump. Now that's on, you can see there's a little bit more texture to it. Obviously, because the picture is a bit low quality, it's not going to be wonderfully great, but it does look a little bit more realistic. Be completely honest, it does. And now we can finally move on to doing the ceiling. Now comes the important part of removing the material that was associated with the walls and making a new one and putting it onto the ceiling and the floor. I'd say that looks pretty good, that works quite well. Merge all that together, and we are going to use Mesh Fixer, great add-on, and literally just press auto fix and it should fix any issues that were in that box. Cool. Just unhide everything. Delete that again, Shift D, and then we can mirror that on the X again, move it down, move it to there. Then we can do the same thing with this. So now we've done the all of that, and we've done all of the walls. We're going to move on to doing the floors and ceilings on the different sides. Now our whole map is done. It's all done. Just going to do some final fixes. Make sure everything is as good as it can be. Because the problems arise when your topology is a bit muddled up. So let's say you've got another thing here, right, and you want to make like a hole in the ceiling, yeah, you're going to make one of those. Right. How many sides has that got? That's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In Blender, anything more than 4 sides is an n-gon, and that goes for basically any other 3D modeling software out there. And n-gons, they're just problems. They cause import problems. I don't know why, but I do know that one thing they do for sure is mess up your shading. So they mess up how light affects everything. But okay, we've got our map. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it again, export it as an FBX, and we're going to make another folder called export. Put that in there. Make sure this is all fine. Apply transforms. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, perfect. Cool. That's done. So we've got our model, right? Now I'm gonna take it into a new project in Unity. Obviously we've got all these different ones. I'm gonna use the built-in render pipeline. Actually, no, I'm gonna use Universal. Right. Let's call it test game. No. Game. And wait for that to launch. Let me get my map into. Got our FBX file. We'll take that to assets, drop that in. I'm gonna put in the maps textures. So you'll notice I have made a mistake. That is the normals. What I needed to do here was to change the normals to face the outside. Normals are essentially faces, the way that faces appear, and from here it's fine, but from where I've copy and pasted that onto there, it's flipped it and the normals are the other way around. Same thing for this part. So let me go ahead and fix that. So now I've fixed the normals, I will save that, export it again, and replace that. Bring it back in, go to my export, drop it in again, and there we are. It's a bit, don't know why it's that way. Pretty nice looking map. Right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to have a look at the starter assets, find the prefab, work actual, put you in there. Before we do that, we're not done. I made a bit of a mistake. So I need to add a collider to this. Mesh collider. That just makes it so that you don't fall through the floor. That should work the way it is supposed to. If we turn this guy's scale down so we can fit in that door. I think we're good. So now what we can start doing is we can start to play around with lighting. So I'm gonna go into rendering, environment, turn it off. All the lights off. Now what we do, we get a point light, put it in the room. In the middle there. Then we can turn it down just a bit. Then we can do the same thing in the other room. Move it over here. Got 2 rooms, slightly lit. Then we can do the same thing, but bring it over here. Right, so lighting is finished. Well, lighting in the sense of the actual lights themselves. Obviously I can move these around just a little bit more. Make sure they're right in the middle, as close as we can get to it, without it being a bit annoying. Turn that range up just a little bit, so lighting. Do we? No, we don't need to do that. So, yeah, bit of lighting. Let's have a look at how that looks. Pretty nice. Light looks pretty good. Come out here. Got that other light here. Looking good. Come up stairs. Come down the stairs. And that's the map. Now I think I'm gonna turn up the lighting just a little bit. Cool. So all of these lights, normally I would name them, but because this is an example and I need to get this done a little bit quickly, that is all of the lights. I'm gonna get the volume done now. Cool. So now we've got our map done. Actually, Jesus Christ, turn that down. Just make sure everything's still relatively visible. Nice. Looking good. Now what I think we're going to do is we're going to add some sound. So in that map, what have we got? got in the map? We have light sounds, so that's buzzing, flickering. We will have footsteps. We can have some breathing. What else can we have? We can have some ambient sound, so like a horror track in the background. Well, I think that's a pretty good start. Light sounds, footsteps, breathing, and ambient sound. We can also have some cues, I think, and that will be a good segue to showing how I get ChatGPT to do my code. ChatGPT code. Cool. So we got 5 different types of sound we're gonna have to make. We'll do light sounds first, I think. So we've got Pixabay here. This is a great website, free stock sound effects. If we just search up light and we search for sound effects. Right, so we've got this sound as well. Buzz. Ambient sound. So for ambient sound, I'm going to use one of my own sounds. We can download this because I don't think I have that. Ambient. Cool. So we are going to get these audios in. First off, we'll do footsteps. We'll cut those up. This is BandLab, by the way. Got all my things up here. I've been using this for about 4 years. We want similar sounds. Make sure that's starting right at the beginning because we don't want a delay. So we've got 4 there. Alright, let's save these. You know what, before we do that, hang on. Let me get my headphones. I've got a better mic now. My headset mic. Perfect. We have a listen to this. Let's have a listen to this one. That ends a bit too early. So we can extend that. Because we want it to sound as seamless as we can. I can do a little bit of EQ work. Right, we've done our EQ. Now we'll have a look at rope it up. No, cool. Download all of these. Step one. Well, got our footstep sounds done. Now we will move on to breathing. Where is it? There we go. So we just want to make this looping breathing sound. That should be good. We just test how that loops. That's perfect. Export that. Save that. Put it in. Just make sure it loops the same. Let's export that again. Save it as that. Go in here and change that to breathe loop. Delete that. And now we can do the buzz. Buzz of the light. Works very well. So now we got our ambient sound. We can delete these. Now we go into here. We can have our sounds play then. Work with an audio source and quickly make an audio folder. Audio, so we can drag that in. Oh, I could have just dragged that in. Stupid. Right. Audio. Then find that light. That's the same one. Cool. Yep. Very good. Okay. So, don't think I'm going to stick with the light switch idea, but I will have. I'm trying to think of a cue. I could have it be like you walk up the steps and there's a spooky sound. Okay, I'll do that. Create a game object. Mesh. No, I'll do box collider. Box collider. And I'll move that to about, yeah, that'll be fine. If I move that there, now we can make a spooky noise. So I spent a lot of time making a sound. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ChatGPT to give me a model behavior script to make that sound play when I walk through a trigger. So I've put the sound on the collider. Now I'm going to add a new script. What's it called? Trigger sound. Right, let's make a new script then. Trigger sound. Create and add. Put that in assets. Go to it. Select all. Paste what it said. Save that. Make sure all the parameters that it's set are there. Game object. Right, now let's see if this works. Right. So I need to tell it one thing. And you have the audio fade in. And also have the trigger be a one-time event. Nice. That works. Okay. Now I need a modular footstep system that works with starter assets, controller, and can hold to how many? 4 step sounds each footstep the footsteps can be changed. Footstep interval can be changed. Speed wise. Okay, I've put all the footsteps in there and we'll see if it is the right time. If it's timed correctly. Nope. Sounds good though. Max step interval. Move that up. Okay. So, we've got the map pretty much working perfectly. I'm deciding to leave, obviously, the extremely, elaborate stair system, but even than that, other than that, I think it's pretty good. For little example, and I've covered all my topics. So yeah, thanks for watching.